in the Mazda CX-3 and we are driving down to Kuala Lumpur from Gotong Jaya. Okay, this SUV has two-wheel drive only. That means the front wheels are driven, so it's like a front-wheel drive car. Now with 154 horsepower and 206 Newton meters of torque, it's pretty good for this car, considering that it's only 1,320 kilos. So it's about the weight of a C segment sedan, I think. Yeah, 1,300 kilos. And so a 2-liter engine will have no problem pulling it. So in terms of cornering, it sticks to the road very well. Of course, the 18-inch wheels help, and the tires are good rubbers. So I haven't yet found the limit of the car, even though I was driving quite fast. We're going at a pretty fast clip. This is the uphill section before we get to the downhill, and the CX-3 is taking to it like a duck taking to water. You can hear from the engine that we are driving at keeping the engine on a boil. And there's a car that looks like, yeah, okay, I managed to get past. So it hugs the road very, very well. There's no tire screeching, no nothing. Car is very neutral. You can use the pedal shifters to shift down to give you that extra confidence and also that extra traction around the corner. You can really scoot out once you got your lines right. In terms of braking, the CX-3 has got a set of very good brakes, ventilated in the front disc of course, and also solid disc at the back, which means when you go up and down hill climbs like this, there is less chance of your brakes overheating because they can cool down very quickly as compared to drum brakes. In terms of suspension, the CX-3 is set up to be on the comfortable side of firm. Yeah. So if you look at the middle point as comfortable, and this is a bit to the firmer side to give it a bit of performance, at the same time not sacrificing too much of comfort. Okay, this car has G vectoring control, which is a system put in by Mazda to make the passengers feel comfortable. And what it does is, as you go around the corner, the car will, or rather the system will slow down the engine a little bit, you know, retard the ignition and the throttle, so that the car sits down properly and takes the corner. This has the effect of making the customer feel more comfortable. If you're a very good driver, you do exactly the same thing, which means is you tap the brakes slightly and you let the front settle down and you lift off the throttle slightly so that the car will take the corner smoothly. So the GBC does exactly the same thing if you don't do it. So it makes a good driver better and a poor driver a good driver. Something like a karaoke machine, yeah? Okay, we are reaching the bottom of the hill and no sign of brake fade and no smell of brakes. Some cars that have overheated brakes, by the time they get here, you can smell nothing but the brakes, yeah? So this is not so with the Mazda CX-3. It feels very healthy. So there's a sport button down here. You push it forward to engage sports mode. And in sports mode, the car has a more, what do you say, macho effect. Or actually what it does, it allows you to shift gears at a higher RPM and holds the gears longer. To give you a more sporty feel. And of course, you can also use your shift pedals here anytime that you want. It's like the F1 shift pedals, and on the left is for minus and on the right is for plus. The CX-3 also has a blind spot monitoring system, which is the BSM, and it lets you know if there's a car in your blind spot. What I like about it is also it's got a heads-up display, which allows you to see your speed in a little display that's just under the windscreen. And if you're driving fast, you don't have to look down at your speedometer. You just look at the heads-up display, which tells you the speed. And I believe this is the only car in this category that has it, yeah? We're going downhill from Genting Highlands along the Kara Highway, and fortunately for us, it's not very crowded, and we're going at a very healthy clip, which allows me to check out the car. And yes, it corners really nicely, very neutral in handling. Of course, if you lose it, this car also has DSC and also traction control, yeah, TCS. When you drive a car, it's all about how reassured you feel. You know, the feeling of being comfortable in a car. Well, in the CX-3, you feel very secure. When I drove it up this morning, I was a bit unsure about the handling because of the vehicle height, but it doesn't seem to pose any problem because I was able to take all the corners at high speed, and of course I was always careful, never drove 100% or 80%, but we never even touched the limit, yeah, despite the fast driving. Well, the CX-3 has a 6-speed automatic gearbox, and there are people who say there's 8-speed, 9-speed, 10-speed, but actually in all practicality, 6-speed is good enough for whatever you want to do. There's enough meat in between for you to get a good enough set of ratios that is low enough for heavy loads in first gear, and also high enough for high speeds in top gear, and seamless changes in between. Well, so far gear changes have been very smooth, and you don't feel any loss in power when you change gears. So a 6-speed gearbox is good enough, despite whatever people say, yeah? In fact, with some 8-speed gearboxes, you can't even tell the difference. You don't know what gear you're in. With this one, you can at least hear the gear and you can feel it going. So, very good for meat and potatoes people like me, yeah. Steering is quite precise. You can position the car wherever you want it to be. Body roll is minimal, and braking is very nice and solid, confident feeling. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.